Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on some Black Ops Cold War. Hey, look at that. First thing, we got a free bundle in the store. I guess, wouldn't hurt to redeem. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be like a weapon charm or a calling card this time? Wow, that's ironic. I got a Viking charm, and I say it's ironic because if you guys missed the last couple videos, I've been talking about how I've been playing through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and obviously that game's about Vikings, but it's been a grind. I spent a lot of yesterday's video talking about it, so I won't talk about it as much today, but the game, it's very, very long. Right now, I'm literally, I think, like 20 hours into it. I started it like 2 or 3 days ago, so yeah, I've been playing it like crazy, obviously. It's literally, outside of video making, it's all I've been doing is just playing Valhalla, trying to get through it, because it's been sitting in my backlog for months. And I was saying in yesterday's video, every time I go to start a new game, I open up my drawer, I look at all my game cases, and I just hold Valhalla, and I'm like, I'll get to you eventually. And finally, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to do it eventually. So I started it. Like I said, I'm about 20 hours into it. It's a pretty good game. It's very drawn out. Basically, the whole premise behind the game, or the way that it's set up, is you and your brother are trying to take over England, and you have to do it one region at a time. And each region can take anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours, and it's, yeah, there's about like 20 regions you have to get through, so it's a pretty long game. I'll say this much, I'm at the point where when I started the game, I was paying attention to all the little side stories, I was so invested in everything, but now I'm at the point where when it's anything besides the main story, my brain is automatically shut off. Like, I'm trying to keep myself invested in the story that's going on, but my brain is just automatically like, I just don't care. Like, I'm there for the gameplay, everything about that is fun, it's just the side, so I'm done. I'm done trying to keep track of everything. I just want to get back to the main stuff with Eivor and Sigurd and find out what's going on there. But what's wrong with my game? What the heck? Do you guys see? It's like nighttime raid. Hello? Okay, somebody turn the lights back on, but it feels so weird playing a game that isn't Valhalla. My shot is going to be so off today, and like, everything's just going to be bad in this video. Originally, I was just going to make a Minecraft video again like I did yesterday, but I was like, I haven't made a COD video in like a couple days, so I figured I'd do that. And originally I was gonna get on Vanguard, but then I was like, there's really nothing happening over here, and then I looked at Cold War and I was like, I got this new AR, might as well use it. But I mean, right now I'm getting stomped by people sitting in corners with LMGs, so it doesn't even matter. I was thinking about this morning when I was just kind of going about my thing, setting up the video, and it was the discussion on why video games are quote-unquote worse nowadays, and particularly at launch, and stuff like that. And first off, my first thought with games coming out like completely broken, buggy messes, do you know what it's like? It's like if somebody would sell you a house, but they there was no walls to it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like a skeletal frame of a house without the walls, you know what I mean? It was like, yeah, we'll put the walls in eventually. Or we'll sell you a house without a roof. Sure, if there's any bad weather conditions, you're gonna feel all of it, you're not gonna have any shelter, but we'll get there eventually. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. Or like selling you a car without an engine. Like, sure, it's not gonna run properly now, and you may even have problems turning it on in the first place, but I mean, eventually we'll get you that engine. Do you know what I mean? And in worst case scenarios, sometimes you never get said engine. And then it's just kind of like, oh, well, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like they were selling you the idea of something nice, but never actually, following through with it, I guess, which many games have fallen victim to, cough cough, Cyberpunk. But I think I came to a pretty decent solution, well, not solution, but just like, I guess answer to it, or like my assumptions, or whatever, I guess you could call it, of why I think games are coming out in the state that they come out in. And it's simply because they're setting up unrealistic expectations, and then to meet those expectations, other things happen that just completely ruin everything. So let me explain. Let's just look at Call of Duty, for example. They've been doing the yearly thing for God knows how long, and each developer has had anywhere between 2 to 3 years to develop said game. Well, the main thing that I think it comes down to is just the fact that games nowadays take a lot more to actually make, like, in terms of, like, designing graphics and everything like that. Like, it takes a lot more time to design said graphics. There's a lot more, like, weapons and stuff like that in the games. Like, just overall, in all the systems of a game, there's a lot more that goes into it. And to meet those expectations, they have to put their workers, obviously, under crunch. Crunch is like a huge thing, huge debate in the industry of whether or not it's good or bad. To me, if you guys want my opinion on it, I think it's subjective. Some people like me, like, I'm totally into the whole crunch idea. Like, personally, I like crunching, but I know some people aren't into the idea of, like, crunching. Like, it doesn't even have to be for game development, just any work field in general. Like, you know, crunching for some people just isn't healthy for them, but for people like me, like, I get off on that shit. Like, I love crunching, so I feel it's pretty subjective, and it should be up to the workers. Like, hey, you know, if you were only scheduled to work a certain amount of time, they should be allowed to go home unless they decide to stay, which, you know, the fact that that's not how it is already in the game industry is pretty messed up, and I hope something changes soon. But the point I'm trying to get at, I guess, is like, well, we'll go back to the crunch thing. When people are crunched, obviously, like, if you're told you have to do something and your heart isn't in it and you actually don't want to do it, like, say if your mom's like, hey, go clean your room, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then the end product won't be as good, versus if you actually were the one wanting to clean your room in the first place, you probably go in, you organize it real nice, make it look real nice, maybe spray some Febreze, make it smell good. But if somebody tells you to do it, you're just gonna be like, oh, just kind of throw some shit in the closet, get it done, just do what you have to, the bare minimum, you know what I mean? So I feel like that could be part of it, and also the fact that they're setting up these unrealistic expectations of trying to build these games bigger and better, like the new Call of Duties, for example. Like, come out these broken messes because the games take a lot more to make, but they're still trying to release it on the same schedule that they did for something like World at War or COD 4, you know what I mean? Like, it's unrealistic to achieve 3 times the amount of work in the same amount of time without either crunch being involved or just the product not coming out in a good finished state. So to sum it all up, what I'm trying to say is I completely blame publishers, basically, because the only reason that I think games ultimately come out rushed or unfinished or way before they're supposed to be, it's obviously the publishers, that's no secret, but I feel like if it wasn't for these unrealistic deadlines being set by these publishers, then obviously everything would be better, and also just as a whole, the whole game development industry could try to work towards a healthier environment, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would, I mean, I don't feel like, I know, everybody knows that would just be a lot better overall for everybody. I'm literally going 10 and 11, like, I completely forgot about playing the game. My brain just went on autopilot. Sometimes I get into these things where I just feel like talking about random stuff. Sometimes they're more serious, like things like today, and sometimes they're just other random stories, but man, I don't know, that's how I flow. If it's on my mind, I'm gonna talk about it, but hey, that's what YouTube's for, right? I'm doing so bad, 12 and 12, like I said, I haven't been playing anything but Valhalla, so like my shot's off, and the last time I was on here, my freaking SBMM kicked in, and I was doing super freaking good, and now that I'm back, after doing really good the last time I was on, I'm just sucking, and oh god, why is SBMM a thing too? Like, I hate that. What happened to the days when it was what? How did he get me? Miss the days of BO2. Like, you hop in, it's just based on connection. Yeah, and most times you were better than everybody just because, you know, when you're just doing it connection based and not off of skill, it's more likely the majority of players aren't like Optic Scump or whatever the guy's name is. You know what I mean? Like, they're not freaking, it'll be easier to do good, but SBMM, just get rid of it, please. Games, SBMM, I get it, it's to protect the noobs, but sometimes you just need to throw them to the wolves. You want to know how people got good back in the day and why there's so many good people now? Because they started playing back in the day and they were thrown to the wolves. And now look at them. Just one final thought on the whole game development thing. Have you noticed how indie games never, I mean, so I'm sure there's some, but you never hear about it, at least, about indie games coming out like completely broken, busted messes. Like, any game published by EA, Ubisoft, Activision, they always come out completely broken, buggy messes. But when it comes to indie developers, no. Like, think about, like, Hollow Knight, or, like, any other game like that. Dead Cells. When they released, was there a bunch of bugs or whatever? No. It came out just fine. Call of Duty Vanguard? Well, came out 4 months ago. And we only were just able to unlock Atomic starting, like, a month ago. Wow, that was a lot of really random rambling. Originally, I was just gonna kind of hop on and just do a chill video, talk about stuff. But then I started talking about game development, and they got all real serious and stuff. But hey, I mean, that's my type of content here, so if you're new, that's kind of what I do. Sometimes it's more lighthearted. Sometimes we just kind of talk about other stuff like this. So, if that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, I guess. I don't know, it always makes me feel so weird, like, just asking you guys to, like or subscribe anymore. Like, just, I did it for a while, like in my outros and intros, I'd always be saying it just because I was like, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But the more I watch YouTube videos, the more draining it gets just hearing people say it. It's like, dude, every single YouTuber in every single video is always like, subscribe. Like, it's like a broken record. And it's like, by the time it gets to that video, you're just ready to click off. So I'm about to just say screw it. Like, when the video's over, I'm gonna just say peace, and that'll be the end of the video without all the begging. I mean, everybody knows how YouTube works. If you like a video, you're gonna like it. If you don't like it, you won't. If you like them, you'll subscribe. If not, then you'll never watch your channel again. Like, it's, I don't know. I think I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna start a new wave. I'm gonna stop all the stupid begging and other cliche YouTuber stuff. Let's start a new wave. Let's make YouTube fun again. Politics have their MAGA movement for, like, Make America Great Again. We're gonna have MAFA, Make or no, MIFA. Make YouTube fun again. Yeah, that's that. As always, a shout out to the Patreons, Karma's Fave Grandma, and Lil Booty Tap. If you guys do want to support me outside of social media and stuff, or outside of YouTube on other social medias, all that's in the description below, you know, like my Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, Reddit, Discord, all that. I don't consider that to be begging. I'm just talking about it, so don't call me a hypocrite for talking about that stuff just a second ago and then bringing this up. But yeah, that's that. I upload daily at 7 p.m., so if you enjoyed, then I hope to see you guys back here tomorrow. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.